welcome to Cambridge Chemistry by Sarvateman. Today I will be solving uh, 5070 O level chemistry paper 22 October November 22. So this is the paper. This is the paper October November 22. So let's start. Answer all the questions in this section in the space provided. The total marks for this section is 45. The diagram shows part of the periodic table. Answer the following questions using only symbols of the. You're supposed to write down the symbols of the elements in the. Each symbol may be used once, more than once, or not at all. Give the symbol of the element that is a catalyst in a Haber process. Haber process, that is the ammonia making process. Ammonia making process. And catalyst which is used in Haber process is iron. Is used to make food containers because of its resistant to corrosions. So you know that aluminium is used to make food containers which is resistant to corrosion. This is one of the property of aluminium metal. Aluminium is resistant to corrosion, so that's why it is used to make food container. um, Next is about 1% by volume of air, that is the noble gases is 1%, and argon is the most common. uh, is extracted from hematite. Hematite is ore of iron. The formula of hematite is Fe2O3 dot SiO2. This is the formula of hematite, and iron is extracted from the hematite. Forms an ions with a charge of -2. -2, you know that non-metals always form negative ions when they tend to gain electrons. So uh, group 5 carrying -3, group 6 carrying -2, and group 7 carrying -1. Similarly, group 1 +1 +2 +3, and this is ±4. The answer is oxygen forms an ion which. Next question is, this question is about halogen and halogen compounds. Draw a dot and cross diagram to show the arrangement of electrons in a chlorine molecule. Show only the outer shell electrons. And you know that group 7 elements are known as halogens, and we have to draw chlorine. So draw like this. This is the one pair, because group 7 has 7 valence shell electron. One electron is shared by 2 atoms of chlorine. So this is the chlorine molecule. Please keep it in mind that you have to draw all valence shell electrons of chlorine, not only this. So next question is of state one use of chlorine. Chlorine used to kill bacteria. Used to kill bacteria or germs in water. Aqueous chlorine reacts with aqueous potassium bromide. State the color of bromine. It is color of bromine aqueous. So this is the displacement reaction of halogens. Chlorine is highly reactive than this bromide ion. So chlorine can displace bromine bromide from potassium bromide. So the color of is orange. Explain using ideas about the reactivity of halogens. Why aqueous bromine does not react with aqueous potassium chloride. Bromine is less reactive than chlorine. Bromine is liquid at room temperature. Describe the arrangement and separation of the particles in a liquid. Arrangement is the particles are in arrangement is random arrangement. Random and separation, particles close together like this. This is the liquid, so these are touching with each other. There are little spaces, but particles are close enough. Chlorofluorocarbons are atmospheric pollutant which deplete the ozone layer. Explain the importance of ozone layer. Describe one problem caused by the depletion of the ozone layer. Ozone importance, it protects ozone layer protects from UV rays, yeah, or ultraviolet rays. Write down, not UV rays, this is ultraviolet rays. Ultraviolet from ultraviolet rays, or you can say that the it reduces the ultraviolet rays. Problem One problem caused by the depletion of ozone layer. It causes skin cancer. You can write down only one. Okay, so no need to write down two or more. So it causes skin cancer. The alkanes are a homologous series of hydrocarbon. Give the general formula of the alkanes. So this is very simple. You must learn the general formula of the organic compounds homologous series CnH2n plus 2. Name this alkane 1, 2, 3, 4. So the name of this compound is butane. If written name, always write down name. If you write down C4H10, so this will be considered wrong. Draw the structure of a different isomer of this alkane. Show all the isomers. This is one structure, and you need to draw different structure from this one. So this is another structure of butane, C4H10. Because isomers have same molecular formula, different structural formula. So this is Butane. The fractional distillation of petroleum produces fractions containing alkanes of different chain lengths. Separation by fractional distillation depends on the physical property of the fractions. Fractional distillations depends on the boiling points. So the separation by fractional distillation depends on the physical property, that is, name this property. So just write down boiling point, because the fraction with lower boiling point distills over the top, while the fraction with higher boiling points at the bottom. Naphtha is one fraction separated from petroleum crude oil. State the main use of naphtha fraction. Naphtha is it is the raw material for petrochemical industry. So the one use is making chemicals. Naphtha. Larger alkanes molecules are cracked to form smaller alkanes molecules. Explain the importance of cracking larger alkanes into importance of cracking larger alkanes into smaller alkanes. To form short chain alkanes and alkenes which are in more demands. State two conditions needed for cracking: high temperature, high temperature, high pressure, and catalyst. Catalyst is Al2O3 or silica SiO2. Alkanes react with chlorine in the presence of ultraviolet light to form compounds that contain carbon, hydrogen, and chlorine. A compound contains 37.8% carbon, 46.30% hydrogen, 55.9% chlorine by mass. Calculate the empirical formula. So this is very simple question. Carbon, hydrogen, and chlorine. 37.8% is out of 100 into 100, so this is equal to 37.8 grams. So similarly 6.30 and 55.9 gram. This is mass, then AR, mole, mole ratio, and formula. So AR is 12, 1 and 35.5. So mole is 3.15. This is 6.3 and this is 1.57. So mole ratio by dividing the smaller mole to all molar quantities, 3.15 divided by 1.57, 6.30 divided by 1.57, and 1.57 divided by 1.57. So this is equal to 1. This mole ratio is 4 and this will be equal to 2. So the formula is C2H4Cl. If written, calculate you are supposed to show all calculations. Okay, so you are not supposed to write down only formula over here. You just calculate, show calculation like this. This question is about ammonium sulfate. Ammonium sulfate is a fertilizer. Explain why fertilizers is used. Why farmers put fertilizers on a soil where crops are grown. Farmers put fertilizers on soil for better growth. It is used, fertilizers are used to improve plant growth. Improve plant growth or yield, crop yield, you can say. Explain why farmers do not add calcium hydroxide to the soil immediately after adding ammonium sulfate. Ammonium, when immediately we use calcium hydroxide acts as a base, and all ammonium salts are acidic in nature. When they react with each other, they form ammonia. Like if we react with add after immediately after fertilizer, we add calcium hydroxide. So calcium hydroxide to form ammonium calcium sulfate, ammonia, ammonia gas, and water. So no need to write down chemical equations, so just write down that ammonia is produced. Ammonia is produced which escape in air so the 2 marks, first marks ammonia is produced which is escape in air causing causes soil deficient of nitrogen. So 1 mark is explain. If it is written explain, so just write down that ammonia is produced in this reaction which escape. 1 mark over here, and second mark that ammonia escape in air causes soil to deficient of nitrogen. Calculate the percentage biomass of nitrogen ammonium sulfate. Gives your answer to 3 significant figures. So we know the formula of ammonium sulfate. First calculate MR of compound. Nitrogen is 14 into 2, hydrogen 4 into 8, 4 to the 8, plus sulfur 32, oxygen 16 into 4. This will be equal to 132. Percentage by mass of nitrogen is equal to nitrogen A 28 is nitrogen, total mass is MR is 132, into 100. It is equal to 21.12%. Sorry, 21.21. 21%. So give your answer three significant figures. So answer must be in three significant figures. So 21.2%. Complete the equation for the reaction ammonium sulfate with, so like calcium hydroxide, the same products are formed because calcium hydroxide is act as a base. So sodium hydroxide also act as a base. So same reaction is going on. Sodium sulfate Na2SO4 plus ammonia plus water. So you must write down balanced chemical equation to NH3 Na2SO4. So this is the chemical equation: aqueous gas and liquid. So correct formulas carrying 1 mark and balancing carrying 2nd mark. So this is for balancing and 1 marks for correct formula of the compound. Next question is ammonium sulfate decomposes when heated. The reaction is endothermic. Complete and label the energy profile diagram for this reaction. This is endothermic reaction. So reactants always on the left side of the so over here reactants and this is products, and this is activation energy and this is enthalpy change, delta H. Enthalpy change of the reaction. Next, question number 5. This question is about metals and metal compounds. Zinc react with aqueous copper 2 ions. Explain why this reaction involves both oxidation and reduction. Zinc, use the equation. Zinc loses two electrons to form zinc 2 positive ion. So this is oxidation, is known as oxidation. The reaction is zinc solid tend to lose two electrons to form zinc ion. This is oxidation, and copper gains two electrons, so this is reduction. Copper 2 positive gains two electrons, so this is reduction as copper 2 ions gain electrons. Aqueous ammonia is added To aqueous zinc ion, describe the observation when a few drops of aqueous ammonia are added. Few drops white precipitates. White precipitates with few drops of ammonia. Precipitates dissolves with excess of ammonia solution. Molten zinc chloride conducts electricity. Predict the product formed at the anode. Predict the products formed at the anode and the cathode when molten zinc chloride is electrolyte. Molten zinc. Molten zinc has only two ions. Like zinc chloride, when it becomes molten, it dissociates into zinc 2 positive and 2Cl negative. So at anode, this reaction at anode chlorine is the product, and you know that at anode oxidation takes place. So I just write down the chemical equation for your revision of the equations. 2Cl negative gains 2 electron to form chlorine gas, and zinc ion at cathode zinc, and this is the reaction of zinc 2 positive gains 2 electron to form zinc. So you just write down anode product or cathode, no need to write on chemical equations. Explain in terms of structure and bonding why zinc chloride has a high melting point. Structure and bonding. Zinc chloride is giant ionic lattice. This is the structure. Lattice with strong force of attraction between positive and negative ions. This is very important to write down. Positive and negative ions. If you don't write electrostatic force of attraction, you just write down strong force of attraction between positive and negative ions require high energy to break. To overcome or break. So you can write down electrostatic force of attraction also. Force of attraction. So if you write down strong force of attraction, you just mention that force of attraction between positive and negative ions. Aluminium is extracted from its ore by electrolysis state. Why aluminium extracted by electrolysis? Aluminium is highly reactive metal. Aluminium is highly reactive metal. State 1 property of ammonia which makes it suitable for the construction of air: light or low density. You can write down one. State 1 advantage of recycling metals such as aluminum and copper: conserves or like save holes. You can write down. Question number 6. This question is about nitrogen and oxide of nitrogen. State the percentage of nitrogen by volume in air. In dry air it is 78%. The equation represents the equilibrium between nitrogen and oxygen at a high temperature in a closed container. Predict what happens to the position of pressure is increased. No effect, as number of moles on reactant and product side are same. The table shows the concentration of nitrogen oxide in the closed container at 3 different temperatures. State what this information shows about the enthalpy change of the forward reaction. Explain your answer. So from the table, 800 degrees centigrade, the yield is concentration of nitric oxide is 0. Nitrogen 2 oxide is 0.02, while at 1000 it is 0.20. So it means by increasing temperature yield is increased, so the reaction will be endothermic. The enthalpy change will be endothermic. The reaction is endothermic because a higher concentration of NO in mole per dm cube at higher temperature. At higher temperature, nitrogen 2 oxide reacts with hydrogen to produce ammonia and construct the equation for this reaction. So again 2 marks, one for balancing and one for correct formulas. NO plus hydrogen to form ammonia plus water. NH3 and H2, 5 hydrogen atom over here, so 5H2. Nitrogen oxides are pollutant in the atmosphere. State 1 source of nitrogen oxide in atmosphere. This is lightning and thunderstorm. Atmosphere. or exhaust fumes. Incomplete combustion of it corrodes the marble stone building. State the formula of the ion that is present in all acid, H positive. This question is about carboxylic acid and polymers. The structure of an organic compound is shown. Reduce the molecular formula of this compound. 1, 2, 3, 4, C4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, C4 and 6, C4H6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. So the formula is C4H6O5. Propanoic acid reacts with methanol, CH3OH, to form an ester. Name this ester. This is methanol and this is propanoic acid. The name of ester is methyl. Methyl we get from methanol, and from propanoic acid it is propanoate. Structure of ester is state one use of esters used as a solvent. Ethanoic acid can be produced by the bacterial oxidation of ethanol. Give one other method of oxidizing ethanol to produce ethanoic acid. Other method using acidified potassium manganate 7 with ethanol. So acidified 1 mark and potassium manganate 7 carrying 2 marks. By writing acidified carrying 1 mark. The simplified structures of dicarboxylic acid monomer and diamine monomers are shown. Draw the partial structure of the condensation polymer formed from these two monomers, 2 repeat units. This is the second repeat unit I have to write down. So this is continuous bond, this is continuous bond, and this is the repeat linkage. This is the mild linkage. State the meaning of the term condensation in joining of two compounds with elimination of small molecules like water and HCl or HCl. Protein have a mild linkage. Protein are hydrolyzed using dilute acid. Name the type of compound produced by this hydrolysis amino acid. Question number 8. The question is about metal and metal compound. Describe with the aid of label diagrams. Structure and bonding in metals. So this is electron. Positive metal ion. And CO, delocalized valence shell electron. Are closely packed metal positive ions. Ions closely packed are closely packed, surrounded by delocalized electrons with strong electrostatic force of attraction. Cerium. Now the table shows the reactivity of four metals with cold water and with steam. Cerium reaction with cold water is slow, reactivity with steam is fast. Okay, slow. Nickel none and very slow. Cerium is more reactive than nickel. Rubidium very fast. So rubidium is more reactive than cerium and explosive. So zinc is none with cold water, fast with. So we can arrange put the in the order of increasing activity. Rubid increasing activity, least reactive to most reactive. First come nickel, because nickel has slow reaction with steam but no reaction with cold water. So nickel is least reactive. Then zinc, no reaction with cold water but fast reaction. So then zinc, and afterwards rubidium is has very fast reaction with cold water but very explosive with steam. So next comes cerium, zinc, nickel, and rubidium. The full symbol of an ion of cerium is shown. This reduces the number of electrons and neutron in this ion. 1, this is the number of proton. So number of electrons will be 3 less from 58. So it means it is 55 because positive ions are formed when metal losing electrons. So this is 140. So number of neutron 140 minus 58. So this is equal to 82. The number of neutron is 82. Zinc reacts with aqueous silver nitrate to produce aqueous zinc nitrate and silicon. Construct the ionic equation for this reaction. So this is the actual equation. Zinc plus silver nitrate aqueous to form zinc nitrate aqueous plus Ag solid. So do balance the reaction. Zinc NO3 twice, 2 over here, 2 over here. So this is aqueous, same aqueous ions are cancelled out and we get ionic equation like this. Zinc solid plus nitrate cancelled out, 2 Ag aqueous to form zinc aqueous plus 2 Ag solid. The effect of heat on crystals of green nickel to chloride is shown in the equation. State the term used to describe salts such as NiCl2 when contain no water of crystallization, that is anhydrous salt. Anhydrous. And describe how to change yellow nickel to dark green to back to green nickel to chloride. When we add water, it will become green. So add water. Question number 9. Magnesium carbonate reacts with dilute hydrochloric acid. When 25 cm cube of added to excess magnesium carbonate, the volume of carbon dioxide gas produced at room temperature and pressure is 120 cm. Calculate the concentration in mole per dm cube of the dilute hydrochloric acid. So we have only volume of the hydrochloric acid. So first find out the mole of carbon dioxide. So mole of carbon dioxide is given. CO2 is equal to 120 divided by 24,000. Because this is centimeter cube, so we use 24,000 cm cube. The answer is 5 into 10 raised by 2 minus 3. Now calculate the mole ratio. HCl has 1 mole, carbon dioxide has 2. 1 mole HCl has 2 mole. 5 into 10 raised by 2 minus 3 ratio x. So the x will be mole of HCl will be 1 into 10 raised by 2 minus 2. So the concentration HCl is mole over volume. Mole over volume into 1000. Mole is 1 into 10 raised to minus 2 divided by volume 25 centimeter cube divided by or multiplied by 1000 is equal to concentration. The concentration is 0.4 mole per dm cube. The reaction is repeated at higher temperature. All other conditions stay the same. Describe how the rate of reaction changes. Okay. Explain your answer about collision between the particles. Rate increases as particles gain kinetic energy, move faster, and have more successful collisions. Above that of activation energy. Activation energy. The reaction repeated using higher concentration of hydrochloric acid. All other conditions stay the same. Describe how the rate of reaction changes. Rate of reaction increases. Rate increases as particles become crowded, and have more frequent collision per unit area, per unit volume. Duralumin is an alloy of aluminium, magnesium, copper, and manganese. State the meaning of term alloy. Alloy is the mixture. Dural is alloy of aluminium, magnesium, copper, and manganese. This is the mixture of 4 metals. So it means alloy is the mixture of alloy is a mixture of metal with other element. So we write down element like because in addition to metal there can be non-metal as well, because stainless steel is an alloy which is a mixture of iron and carbon. So that's why it is better to write down that it is a mixture of metal with other element. Copper is purified by electrolyzing using an impure copper anode and a pure copper cathode. Construct the ionic equation for the reaction taking place at cathode. So at cathode is the negative plate and copper ion. So this is the reaction at anode. At anode, copper is dissolving to form copper ion, while at cathode is a negative plate, and at negative plate copper ion deposited at the after gaining electron, copper solid. So this is the reaction to form copper solid. Okay, a metal object, you can write down negative sign over here because electrons carrying negative charge. This is for safer side. You can write down like this. If you don't write, so it doesn't matter if you don't write because electrons carrying negative, it is understood, but it is better to write down negative charge over here. Make metal object can be electrolyzed with another metal. State one use of electroplating. Makes object electroplating. Better to write down the subject of the question. Electroplating make object more resistant to corrosion. So this is all about this paper. Hopefully you like this, and if you like this, please like the video and subscribe my channel. It really helps the channel to grow.